There are times when the enemy simply tries to distract us, to lull us into complacency, or to get us to be so caught up in the comings and goings of mortal life that we lose our focus on the things of eternity. The strategies of the enemy to deceive, attack, and distract are made even more effective if he can divide us from one another. Division comes in many forms: contention, disunity, gossip, backbiting. But perhaps the most insidious is silence. The Savior taught us about silence in the parable of the Good Samaritan. When the priest and the Levite came upon the wounded man by the side of the road, they were silent. They took no action to help, and they did not tell anyone of the man in trouble. The Samaritan, in contrast, spoke in word and in deed. He bandaged the man's wounds and took him to an inn. The Samaritan told the innkeeper about the wounded man and arranged for his care. The man by the road represents so many of our brothers and sisters, so many of us wounded by the perils of mortal life and the battles of the Great War. And yet, in our modern society, the enemy has spread fear of getting involved when someone's in trouble, and has fostered a social stigma against people who speak up in the face of evil. The enemy whispers, "Don't get involved. It's not your problem. Don't tell. You'll be a tattletale." So here's an example. A lonely, confused young man gets addicted to pornography by first starting with the wrong movies and then edging into material that is increasingly sleazy, vile, and immoral. He stops going to church, and there is darkness in his eyes. The young man is spiritually wounded on the battlefield of the Great War. His roommates know, but they are silent. They do nothing to help him. And they say nothing to him or to anyone else as he descends into an earthly hell until he is bound in the chains of awful addiction. Oh, brothers and sisters, don't leave the wounded on the battlefield. Stick together. You don't need to be a more righteous than thou person. We're all sinners. We all have troubles. We've all been wounded spiritually wounded in the battles of the Great War. But you who have felt the redeeming power of Christ, you who know His love and His grace, you know He can heal all wounds. If you reach out in a spirit of love and humility, you can help the spiritually wounded find the Savior. If you need to, call for the medics, talk to your bishop, talk to the dean of students, tell someone who can do something that you have a friend in trouble. Don't be silent. Don't leave the wounded on the battlefield.